I want him to look at me and think, that's my wife. Little William was my alarm clock this morning, and he woke me up at 5, which is when my alarm usually goes off, and he wanted to nurse. So I brought him into my bed, I nursed him, and then he slept with me for a while, and I just couldn't say no to the snuggles. And I may have laid there for just a little bit too long because now I only have less than an hour to film this video before the rest of my family wakes up, but no regrets. Hello everybody, it's Delilah. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a wife talk. I'll admit I've been avoiding this topic for a really long time because I didn't feel qualified to discuss the topic. I've been going through a period of growth lately, and I have just realized that so much of what I once thought was true about being a wife and marriage was not at all true in any way, shape, or form. And so my viewpoint on marriage and being a wife has changed dramatically over the last few months. I have learned so much about what it means to be a Christian wife and what God's intention for marriage is, and how the world has taken that and twisted it and made it something that it's not supposed to be. I'm still learning. I'm learning so much, and I have a lifetime to continue to learn and to better myself as a wife and be a better helpmeet for my husband. And I think it's really cool doing this whole YouTube thing and documenting my journey for the last 5 years and my early marriage years, and just seeing how I've changed and grown over the years. My view on motherhood and marriage and everything just changes as I change and grow and learn. And so I want to share a little bit of that with you today. As usual, I went over to Instagram. I got you guys to ask me some questions, and so we're gonna sit here and chat this morning. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, grab yourself a basket of laundry to fold. I've got a small basket this morning. My goal with this video is to have you come away from it feeling enlightened and encouraged, maybe challenged, and that we can all just be here to support one another. The sun is rising right now, so we might get a little bit of funny lighting changes within this video, but that's okay. We're gonna roll with it. The first question: modesty / wearing what your husband enjoys. Another wife navigating what modesty is. So modesty is going to be a little bit different for everyone. Everyone has their own rules or ideas. There's no like one set. You must wear this, you cannot wear this. And that's a discussion you can have with your husband. What does he feel comfortable with you wearing in front of other people? Wearing what your husband enjoys, again, another question you should ask your husband. This is something I ask Zach every once in a while, just to see if his mind has changed, or if there's something new he kind of likes to see on me. And I enjoy wearing clothing that I know my husband enjoys because I want him to look at me and think, that's my wife. There are certain colors that I'll wear that I know that he enjoys. There are certain styles of shirts and pants and clothing and items that I know he really likes that I will wear for him. But at home, where no one else is watching, there are a few select pieces that I have that are maybe just really sexy and silky, or too see-through, or too short, or too revealing, or too this or too that, that I know that he really enjoys, but I know it's not appropriate to wear outside of the house. Tips to avoid and reduce arguments. Here's the thing. There is a time and a place to talk about deep hurts that you are feeling with your husband, but there is a time and a place to just let things slide. This is something that I am learning and navigating through and walking through, and a lot of the arguments that I find happen are simply because I need to just let things go. It is not my duty as a wife to control my husband, and it is not my place to change anybody. I can't change my husband. Nobody can change anybody. That is entirely up to the other person. But what I can do is I can control my reactions. I can control my tongue. I can choose to just suck things up, to put a smile on my face, and to get over it. I make it sound like it's easy. It's not. I have realized that there are so many arguments that we've had that have been entirely and completely my fault because I couldn't just let something slide. Small things, petty things, things that don't even matter. What small things to do for your husband that makes the relationship better? Understand his love language and speak his love language. Know what he enjoys, what makes him feel really, really loved and cherished and respected and honored, and do those things. Respect and honor are key words for wives to know and to understand and to give to their husbands. Men need respect and honor. When my husband feels respected and honored, the whole dynamic of everything changes. We as wives may sometimes think that our husbands don't maybe deserve respect or deserve honor, but here's the thing, your husband is an imperfect human. You are an imperfect human. Our duty as a wife is to show our husbands respect and honor, even when they make mistakes. So show respect, show honor, and speak their love language. Find out what that is, have a conversation with him, ask him to take a quiz so that maybe you can better understand how you can better serve your husband and love your husband. How do you find balance and show hubby respect for his work with you both working from home? So this is tricky. Our situation isn't your normal situation. We both work from home. We both own our own businesses. And when you own your own business, you are the one putting all the work and effort and time in order to make it grow. You can't just go to work for 8 hours a day and leave and be done. Like, it's something that's always on your mind. It's something you're always working towards. There's always something to do. There's always something you're behind on. It becomes a challenge when both of us are working from home and both of us own our own businesses, because we're both feeling that weight. And it's hard when I need his help or I need him at home, but he also needs to go and do his work. Like, if a job comes in, he needs to go and do it. And I have to just go with the flow and make things work. It requires a lot of leaning on the Lord, a lot of just trusting that everything's gonna work out, a lot of smart planning and trying to just stay on top of things, be really organized, and use my time wisely. So wisely. If I don't use my time wisely, I don't get done what I need to get done. What are some ways you keep up mental and emotional stamina for your husband after a full day of the kids? This is another thing that is really quite challenging, because my husband and I are on different time schedules in a way. Like, I'm an early riser. I love waking up early. I feel most productive in the mornings, and my husband is the opposite. He is a night owl. He works best after the kids go to bed. He works best late into the night, whereas I am like dead by that time because I'm up at 5 o'clock. So that is a little bit of a challenge, especially like because we have our own businesses and we both work from home, and very often his work time is in the evenings after the kids go to bed, when normally that would be like our time together. And then by the time he comes to bed, I'm dead. I can't give much more. So it's really important for us to do date nights at least once a week. You know, we've dropped the ball on that for the last month or so because we've been going on so many like little weekend adventures. So we've been having a lot of fun time together as a family and just the two of us, and that's been great. Date night is really important, a time that we can just like let go of everything else and focus solely on one another, give each other our full attention. And also just making time throughout the day to just talk, to have conversation, to be together, especially while the kids are awake, for them to see mom and dad together and wanting to be together and prioritizing each other even over them. It sounds strange maybe, but it's important for them to see that mom and dad really prioritize one another. So sometimes we'll just like take 10 minutes and just talk, and the kids aren't allowed to talk to us during that time. They have to go play on their own. Otherwise, I mean, we hardly get a chance to talk some days or to be together because we're just so busy. Is there an element of being a wife that you thought was going to be easy but turned out to be difficult, and vice versa? Going into marriage, I didn't think anything would be hard. I didn't think I would have a hard time with anything. I was just excited for it. I was excited to dive in. I couldn't really think of anything that might cause an issue between the two of us. And then we got married. And there were a number of times where I had emotional breakdowns, and not that I ever like resented my husband or I thought marriage was really, really hard, but I didn't fully comprehend what it meant to be a wife and what the wife's role in the marriage relationship is. It took me 7 years, guys. 7 years to finally realize what a Christian wife should be and what my role is and how it plays a part in the marriage relationship. My biggest struggle is submission. And my dad knew this. Before I got married, I remember my dad talking to me and being like, Delilah, you gotta learn how to submit. You have to submit to your husband. I'm like, yeah, I know. I knew all this, kind of just, brush it off thinking like, yeah, that's gonna be easy. That's fine. That's fine. But man, that's not an easy thing for me. It doesn't come naturally for me to just submit. I am someone who likes to be in control, especially when it comes to my household and my children and like my things, my life, my stuff. I want to be in control. And so learning submission not only to my husband but to the Lord it takes a lifetime of learning and practice and wisdom. So much wisdom from the Lord. And like I said earlier, I realized that there are so many times when we would argue and we'd have fights, when I would have emotional breakdowns. Back then I thought that Zach was a root cause for those situations, but I realize now, I look back now and I'm like, man, that was all my fault. Totally my fault, completely my fault, because I stepped out of line as a wife. I tried to take control when that is not my responsibility. I could have saved myself a lot of tears and angry sleepless nights and arguments just by submitting, happily and joyfully submitting, and things would have been so much better. Advice for newlywed wives and things you learned in year 1 of marriage. Now I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I learned a whole lot in my first year of marriage. I know there are a lot of people who say like their first year of marriage is the hardest and they had a really hard time. I can't say that. I like the last 7 years have been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful, despite my flaws and my not realizing what a wife really looks like. And my number one piece of advice for newlywed wives is to serve your husband with a smile. Have a joyful countenance, a joyful presence. No husband wants to come home to an angry, bitter wife. Don't allow yourself to become angry and hardened and bitter. Allow things to just roll off your back. Move on, forgive and forget, and just serve joyfully, serve with all your heart. When you marry your husband, you are committing to be his helper, his number one fan, his pride and joy. So be that. Be his biggest fan, his biggest supporter. Serve him as best as you possibly can. Pick up his clothes off the floor with a smile. Cook him the meal that you know he likes with a smile, even if it's one that you maybe don't love so much. If he asks a favor of you, do so happily and willingly. Make him so glad that he married you. I feel like my husband is going through tough emotional stress. How do you help Zach? There have been a couple times when Zach has kind of gone through the same thing, and my biggest word of advice is just be his biggest supporter. Spend extra time showing him how much you love him. Speak his love language all the more. Speak to him with love and respect and kindness. Pray for him. Praying is huge. Don't talk about other people about what he's going through. That's between him and you and the Lord. Just show him how much you care for him and you love him and you're ready to support him in whatever way he needs. How to show respect for your husband in everyday matters. One of the biggest things that you can do to show respect for your husband is to never speak negatively about him to other people, behind his back, in front of him. Never make him feel less than. Like if he does something and maybe he didn't do a very good job of it, don't let him know that. Be thankful for what he did, because telling him that he didn't do something very well is not showing respect. Saying anything negative about your husband, and I'm guilty right here. I think all wives are guilty at this at some point. Speaking negatively about your husband, even in small things. Complaining that he doesn't pick up his socks off the floor. Done that, been there. I'm stopping that. I am not going to say anything negative about my husband to anybody else. At least that's my goal. That is what I'm going to try and do. Talk up your husband to him and to other people, and he will want to live up to that. How do you serve your husband when life is so busy? I do my best to make him my number one priority. I will cook things that I know he really likes. I'll do my best to keep the house clean and tidy because I know that he loves a clean and tidy house. I will sacrifice some of my own quiet me alone time to do something nice for my husband. That little bit of sacrifice really goes a long way. What practical advice would you give for better communication between husband and wife? This is a good one. Communication. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Communication is key. It is so important. This is something that you should sit down with your husband and have a conversation about. We have set up some rules and boundaries when it comes to spending money. So if we spend anything like over $10, we will first talk to the other person. That seems silly to some people, but seriously, it has helped so much because it has built up trust in one another. We know that we're not just blowing money willy-nilly behind each other's backs. I have full and complete trust in my husband because we have had so much open communication about everything. We allow each other to look at each other's phones. We are hiding nothing. There are no secrets. How to not resent Zach when he is away from you and the kids for a long chunk of time. I will readily admit that this is something that I really used to struggle with a lot, especially when he would work throughout the week and then he'd want to go do something all day on Saturday away from the family and the kids, and I just wanted a break. I wanted to have him home. I wanted his help. I wanted to see him because I missed him, and he wanted to go out and do stuff, and I was bitter about that. It was hard for me to just let him go and have a full day of fun away from us while I'm at home taking care of all of the responsibilities, and I would allow that bitterness and anger to sit inside. It would fester and it would grow, and I would just become really angry and bitter, and that is just not who I want to be. I don't want to be an angry, bitter, nagging wife. And I think a lot of that just stemmed from a very selfish mindset. I wanted him home. I missed him. I wanted him to take care of the kids. I wanted some alone time. I wanted his help. When I start to change my point of view and start thinking about what does he want? What's he feeling right now? How can I serve him? How can I serve my family? Everything changed. My whole mindset changed. My whole view on life changed. I started realizing how much I have and being thankful for what I have. It makes you feel good to do something nice for somebody else. And this is something I really want to instill in my children, this mindset of serving others, helping others, doing nice things for other people. How do you make yourself feel attractive or sexy after having kids? Honestly, my husband does such a good job of building me up and showing me how attracted he is to me and how much he just loves me for me, that I do feel sexy and attractive in his eyes, and that's really all that matters. I don't care what other people think. I care what he thinks, and he thinks I am the bee's knees, and that's all I need. I will wear things that I know he likes. I will wear things that make me just feel really good, that I feel are flattering on me, that I enjoy. And any negative thought that I have about myself, I push it away and replace it with a positive thought that I have about myself. That way I'm not fixating on things that I don't enjoy, and I'm focusing on the good parts and the good things, and that's really a huge mindset shift. Stay-at-home date night ideas. So we do a lot of stay-at-home date nights. We love charcuterie board nights with wine and cheese and crackers and meats, and we like to go and buy some like special ones that we've never tried and experiment with different flavors, and something we really enjoy. Cooking together, cooking something you've maybe never made before. Board games, recreating a special date night or your honeymoon. That's one that I've been wanting to do for a while. If you and your husband are both into video games, play video games together. Zach and I do that often. We try to avoid just sitting and watching movies because then we get really tired, we're not talking, we're not communicating, we just get lazy. It's great when we just need to sit and relax, But we try and avoid that for date nights because we just get so lazy, and I mean, it just kind of defeats the whole purpose of date night because we're not talking or communicating. Actually, this is a good one for you to comment. If you have any good at-home date night ideas, leave it in the description box below. When your husband wants to be intimate but you're too tired, touched out, what do you do? There are times when I maybe am not feeling so good, I might be in pain, I might be so exhausted I can barely keep my eyes open, and I'll say, I'm so sorry, but I can't tonight, but let's make it a priority tomorrow, and it's something we can look forward to tomorrow. But there are times when I need to just get over myself and love my husband anyway. Okay, this might sound really silly, but something I read that has stuck with me for the last 7 years is you can enjoy sex too. Sounds silly, right? But when we get into this mindset of, oh, I'm too tired, I don't really want to, it's almost like I don't allow myself, or I won't allow myself to enjoy it because I don't really feel like it right now. But I can. That doesn't mean I can't enjoy an intimate time with my husband just because I'm not really feeling up to it. I can get there and I can enjoy it, and your husband will enjoy it too. How to avoid resentment and finding purpose in serving our partners. Honestly, when I started taking my duty as a wife more seriously, I realized that that was my purpose. I felt like I found my purpose. My purpose is being a wife, a mother, a homemaker, my home, taking care of my home, making my home feel calm and safe, and a place where my family can come to and relax. When I realized and grasped that my role as a wife was to be my husband's helper, everything changed, because that is my purpose. And so I dedicated everything to fulfilling that purpose, to serving my husband and my family. And when I started to really make that my purpose and my priority, the resentment just went away. Coffee is done. A little bit cold, but it's okay. Laundry is folded, and I have to go and get my family now and start some breakfast and get the day going. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you felt challenged and encouraged. Maybe some things that I said were shocking to you, and maybe not what you have grown up believing what a wife should do and should be. I encourage you to just think about some of the things that I said, and even if it sounds wild and crazy and not right to you, to really think about it, maybe even give it a try, and just see what happens. I want to get Zach in some of these videos again, start doing some marriage talk videos. I know a long time ago I talked about doing like a marriage video series, talking more in depth on certain topics. It's something I definitely want to do again now that I'm kind of at a better understanding of marriage. Leave suggestions in the comments below, maybe topics that you want me to talk about, topics that you want Zach and I to talk about. We will see what we can do. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.